Hey guys, welcome to ClevelandMoto podcast number 521. Light 'em up, boys.
Wait.
Yeah, get it. Come on, Dan. Get with the program, man. Come on. Shh, get it lit. Get it lit. I didn't even walk over here with one at the moment. Just getting a slow roll going today. To our lineup for tonight, it is a gorgeous autumnal evening in Cleveland, Ohio, 70 degrees, give or take. To my immediate left, we have
Dan Kropke of the GTS 310.
I'm a GTS 310. And to his left,
Steve Sleepy.
And Sleepy, what'd you ride in tonight?
The Africa Twin.
And the Africa Twin. And to his left,
Johnny Mac.
Johnny Mac is wearing the Rot Wheels t-shirt tonight. Very cool. Very in the spirit of the creepy season. And what'd you ride tonight, John?
The Intruder.
The Intruder. The anal intruder. And to his immediate left, we have
Not So Speedy Pete.
Not So Sleepy Pete. Marshall Thompson is in the cheap seats. Already said greetings, guys. To his immediate left. Oh, what did Pete ride?
Well, I'm not so speedy tonight because I'm riding the Hunter Cub.
You are riding on Cub. And to his left.
Pete, did you have that big box on the back last time I saw it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That stays on there
for some reason. I didn't
remember.
remember seeing that.
Yeah. It really, I find that hard to believe. It's kind of hard to miss.
It is hard to miss.
It's an extra large Pelican case.
I don't know. The bike's really red, and that's all I see.
Yeah.
And to his left?
Chris Shanky Smith.
Chris Shanky Smith. What'd you ride tonight, Chris?
I rode the Mustard Monkey.
Mustard Monkey.
And
Excellent.
I'm having a Shanky's
A Shankish whip.
a la mode.
You're having the Shankies a la mode. I'll be having that during the session break.
You guys took it to
It's
a
delightful.
level.
After the first act, I'll have the Shankies a la mode.
You know
And
what should fuck you up when you eat it? Ice cream.
Ice cream, exactly. I like to upset my stomach and settle my stomach at the exact same time.
Right.
And then behind the bar today,
Sean Noel,
taking Tom's position. What'd you ride tonight, Sean?
the Vespa 300 Supersport.
Excellent. Very cool. And he is now a recent MSF graduate. And then myself, your humble narrator, I also rode a Vespa today. Our Vespa, the Vespa I rode today, is a 2006 Vespa GTS. First gen, light up red dashboard with an ambient temperature. Two things they never should have got rid of.
Right.
I mean, seriously, that is one of those vehicles we're going to talk about tonight in the podcast, where the first version of it was actually the prime version of it. And then after that, it didn't get better. And that dashboard on that bike, when you turn the key on, it glows red. It's very kind to your night vision. It has the time. It has the temperature. It has all the cool things that you might need to have if you're riding a motorcycle. And then they literally changed that all in further iterations of the motor scooter.
I think every motorcycle should have a thermometer and a clock on the dash at all times.
If you don't, what's wrong with you?
Right.
And the fact that the Vespa had that in 2006, they should have just left that display. That was the best Vespa display ever.
Chris Smith, contact your contact at Shanky's and let them know we're doing our job.
Look at
We
that.
sold 2 bottles. That's Benjamin R.
Benjamin R. said, Shanky Whip engaged. All the swag last week influenced me to acquire a bottle.
And hold
Damn
on, we
straight.
got another one coming.
So Benjamin, how'd you like it, by the way?
Marshall Thompson says, I'm going to go find a bottle of this mythical Shanky's Whip this weekend.
Buy yourself some ice cream to go with.
And this is proof. This is proof positive.
Hey, John, here, I'm gonna pipe up the John cam. Why don't you show them what you got going on?
Yeah, like look at that.
I'm down to my last scoop.
Scoop. Oh,
You can see this.
you can see the color. Yeah.
I can see
so
Shanky's
delicious.
Whip blended with ice cream. What do you call it? A Shanky's Whip?
Yeah, it's literally a Shanky's Dairy Whip.
You know what we got to do? I'm gonna pull the audio
Yeah.
from Blues Brothers, and next week we're gonna have whip
Or whip. Orange whip. 5 orange whips. It's just the gift that keeps on giving, my friends. Shanky's Whip, brought to you by the fine folks at ClevelandMoto.
A Shanky's whipped cream.
Right, exactly. Yeah, throw away your bullshit.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, Shanky's whipped cream.
Whipped cream.
That's
Ooh.
brilliant.
Smith,
Absolutely
remember the
gorgeous.
the stuff you bring that your wife makes?
Yes.
You should incorporate some Shanky's Whip into something like that.
Oh.
Oh my
God, that
Yeah.
might be crazy. Dude.
Yeah, because you got the apple and the caramel laying on top of
I
each
know,
other.
that's what I'm saying.
That sounds good. That sounds really good.
I'll just have to sniff it, but still,
Right, yeah.
it'll probably
you can-
smell good.
It'll probably smell delicious. A little dab behind each ear, as they say. What a week we've had. It has been fantastic. All of us are getting our riding in. Earl does stuff. He said
Yeah,
something.
sorry.
He lost
No,
it.
there you go.
It's okay.
I
I'm
was
also
just-
finding a bottle this weekend. See, the suggestive marketing of the Cleveland, never underestimate the purchasing power, the buying power of ClevelandMoto podcast when it comes to your product.
I think it was Smith's advertisement. Personally.
I think it was.
His commercial.
It's better than God. What did you say? It was better.
Better than holy water.
Better than holy water.
And Jesus likes it more than holy water.
Jesus Christ, that's brilliant. That is fantastic. Super fun. Super cool, man. It's been a great week for riding. It has been a fantastic week to own a motorcycle. It's been, every day has been more glorious than the next. Brandon Baker showed up from Power Sports Marketing Magazine, Power Sports Magazine, and they took the Moto Morini 700, the Escape 700. So he took that off for a long-term evaluation, long-term test. Of course, not before Sleepy made the world's greatest video ever. If you haven't seen that video, get on your YouTube, type in Motor Stories and More, Moto Morini test. It's one of the best, most fun, most educational motorcycle road tests that I've seen in a long time. Very proud to be associated with that.
Yeah.
Super fun, super cool. And plus, Chris McGee and all the guys at Moto Morini are impressed by it.
Oh, good.
So they love it. And it's cool. It's a really good thing. And having Mike involved was awesome and fun.
Yeah, we just try to be factual,
good.
and that's all you can do, you know. And like the only comparison I had for that was my Africa Twin.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, you know, besides the Africa Twin having a little more punch, which
Of
it
course.
fucking should, it has 400 more cc's.
Yeah, better. Right.
But besides that, I mean, like I would prefer some of the options that are on the Marini, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean,
And they did a great job.
They did, man.
And I rode the bike for 3 weeks prior to giving it over to you, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I fully enjoyed that bike.
I can't believe like everything on it, the shocks, everything are completely adjustable. But like it seems to be set up for about a 200-pound person. Because both me and Mike could not, but like we weren't obviously hammering on it. But like you want to test the brakes, it didn't bottom out.
30% adjustment to that suspension out of the crate.
Okay.
And out of the crate, it came out a wee bit soft for my 200 pounds.
Yeah.
And so it came out a wee bit soft. I did some preload adjustment on the back end, and then I did the shock absorbers in the front. The front forks can be adjusted for both compression and rebound.
Yeah.
So I was able to turn the compression up and the rebound up a tiny bit.
Is it on each one? Or
It's
is it
one on each side.
Okay, yeah.
So you have the left side is your compression adjustment, and the right is your rebound adjustment.
Okay.
So very simple, easy to do it with a common dime. So you know all you need. Don't need any special tools. Just grab a dime out of your pocket and click, click, click. Away you go.
You know what I was impressed with is that I've never got any of the crazy features like a dash cam to work on anything before. And I literally like downloaded the app and kind of did it. Like it took me 3 minutes, and then Mike was dancing in front of me.
I know. Like the dash cam feature, as hokey as it seems.
Yeah.
Brendan was kind of like, how do you make it work and everything else? I was like, look, go home, download the app. The owner's manual for that bike is online.
Yeah.
So I think
really
that's cool.
Yeah.
Is the owner's manual is literally every consumer. I forgot my owner's manual at home. Doesn't matter. Do you have your phone? Go to the website. They have all the owner's manuals literally on their website. So you can get anything you need, including in that owner's manual. When you stand behind the bar, you make Tom noises.
That's Tom.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. It's an audio podcast. But it was funny because when I told him that, I was like, look, don't panic. It will be easy. I battled with my, you got the micro cam, the picture in a picture?
Yeah, just in case.
I battled with the Triumph Scrambler, the 1200. I battled with that thing for weeks, and I could never get it to use my phone and my headset and everything together. The Moto Morini, first time I tried it, hit the button and everything worked. What was hilarious was my screen for my Spotify showed up on the dashboard. So in the dashboard, there's a
pass-through.
There's a pass-through. There's a little 2-inch screen, like right in the middle of the dashboard that you're not using. There's an open field there that you would never notice you were missing anything until, boom, there's your album cover.
Yeah.
The song you're playing. I was like, oh, that's clever.
I just, something is simple. Sorry. Something as simple as adding 2 tiny little itsy bitsy wires inside the handlebar.
Right.
And then adding a tiny little, probably about 3-cent LED into
to backlight your gauges.
backlight the things.
To backlight your switches.
Every other manufacturer needs to be slapped in the face. Like that is the most useful thing. When you look down and you're like, oh, there's the button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. High beam, low beam. Is that over here? Is that here? No, it's literally illuminated.
Yeah.
Look down.
Wouldn't it be nice if it just came with a phone mount, like pre-built into it, with like
drop a phone into it.
USB-C, boom, boom.
It does though. It has USB-C and
Well,
USB.
he's talking about
You're saying like
a cradle.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
okay, boom.
Right,
I
a cradle.
I plug it in, and then it connects automatically.
Right.
Yeah,
It tethers it.
but you know what happens though? Every dude is like, well, I like this kind of thing or that. 'Cause, like, a couple
fine.
bikes have a little thing where you can put your phone in it, and you put it in it self-charges in a, what do you call it, a little glove compartment or
Glove
something for your phone.
compartment, right.
Every time I see that bike on YouTube or something like that, the guy has a phone mount. Nobody's using
Nobody's
the
using.
thing, you know?
And the Triumph had that too. Under the seat in the Triumph had its own USB port, and you drop your phone into this little cubby under the seat. But I don't want my phone to be in the cubby under the seat. I might need to look at my phone for directions.
Right.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
And in Triumph's system, they were like, well, but the phone can be under the seat because we have a directions app and a screen on your TFT.
That never worked.
But it never worked. I could never make it function. So,
Everything on that bike worked, and I mean the amount of features it has, just the suspension alone, how smooth it is,
Yeah.
the engine, everything about it, even the exhaust note
Right.
for $82.99.
Well, and when I showed him, I took
nuts.
him into the showroom and I said, by the way, that's $82.99 for the brand new, fresh 2026 new hotness.
Right.
I've got leftover 650s for $63.99.
Right, and
so I don't know how much you care about the forward-looking TV, the forward-looking video. That's the difference between the two bikes and 49cc's. And you could have $2,000 in your pocket. I don't know about you, but $2,000 is a lot of money where I come from. And I might want to have an Escape 650 and an extra $2,000 in my pocket for the same performance.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. I'm glad they have the bike. I'm glad they're going to be using it. Lord knows when Mitch Bohm from American Motorcycle Association, he did a full page write-up on that, on the Escape. They absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
So
Like you and I were talking about last week a little bit, the 1200 that ideally will
that looked good
be
too.
around next year.
we'll
Yeah,
see.
Well,
that would be a great head on because you have an Africa Twin. That'd be a
Right.
fun.
Well, I'm just saying that knowing that
Head to
this
head.
bike came in at the price it did with the features it has,
Right.
I can. So basically, they kind of hit the halfway mark of other bikes at that level. Like, you know what I mean, the price wise.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like they're trying to go after BMW. BMWs are 24 grand. So I bet you that big one's going to be between 12 and 14. If you ask me, if I think right.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, that was what they were talking about. They were talking 12.
12
So
and
they were
14.
talking 12.
So you're going to get basically like a BMW-ish
Right.
bike for half price,
For half
brand
price.
new,
Yeah.
with a 3-year warranty.
It's a different market share right now. We're going to talk in the podcast a little bit later about the offerings from QJ, QJ/Benelli, QJMotor. We'll talk about that a little later on.
Moto
And
Smith has a great point. $2,000 is a lot of Farkle.
it is a lot of farkle. Like
Yeah.
you can really have a lot of fun with a bike for $2K. So that's kind of neat. And
I
I'm
could have at least one or two new bikes, other bikes for 2K.
little dinghies to go along with your motorcycle. Again, I'm not trying to tell people, yeah, you got to run it out and buy a Chinese bike. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we have to be aware that there are some new players in the game, and that and I'm the guy who's guilty of it. 10 years ago, if you would have talked to me about buying a Chinese bike, when Pete and I saw these motorcycles at the Indy Dealer Expo 10 years ago, or maybe that was at Columbus. I can't remember. Where were we, Pete, where we saw those?
Columbus.
They didn't look good.
No, they didn't. I remember the welds like just horrible, like
Right.
kindergarten welds.
Yeah, they didn't look good. And so when we saw these bikes 10 years ago, and mind you, that's a different manufacturer. I want to make sure we're not saying that was a Marini, because it wasn't. But it was a Chinese adventure bike. And when we got up close to it 10 years ago, it was not impressive. It did not look great. Yeah, we'll see how lubed up fucking Sean gets.
Well, I'm having an NA right now, so I'll have to crank it up a little
For
harder.
those listening at home, we need Sean to hit a couple of, to be fairs, and the Cybertrucks are rusting before the end of the show.
That's from Thrust and Justin, because Tom
Yup.
Tom right now is in Berlin, so Tom's getting a different experience than we're getting, and yet we're in Tom's basement in the Ratskeller.
Yeah.
So
in a German basement.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is 2:00 in the morning there right now.
Das ist
So
gut.
he might be watching.
He might be calling in.
He might call in. He might chime in. So in the news items today, by the way, we're going to go through we have some new Patreon members, by the way, just letting you know. We've got some people that are donating money, which is super cool. We're going to get to you guys later on. We're not ignoring you. Thank you for your support.
Could I read a quick little thing from Uncle Bruce?
Please do, John.
Because Uncle Bruce just got a brand new Honda NC 750X, and he's took it out for his first 180-mile ride today with his buddy. They met at the Circle K in Eaton Township. Went to Grandpa's Cheese Barn, the obligatory Grandpa's Cheese Barn run. They had lunch. They had rode the back roads home. This bike is phenomenal. Download the Honda Sync app last night. Managed to get the navigation working. It's absolutely sweet. Uses navigation from my phone and displays it on the bike screen.
That's what it should be.
It's like Apple CarPlay.
Which bike was this again?
NC 750X.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's a really, I mean,
Bruce's first new bike since 1972.
Oh, my.
nice.
It took him like what, 16 months to finally pull the trigger.
I'm like, Bruce, just get the bike. You're not getting.
I get that, man. It's fun that you're like, he's like, I'm going to buy a new bike. I've waited a long time and I'm going to buy a new bike.
You deserve it.
Right?
No problem.
I think I've had 6 bikes while he's been deciding on buying this one.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, sometimes paralysis by analysis can be a cruel mistress, man. I got just exactly the perfect bike. Yeah, but you were without a bike for 3 years because of it. So one of the things I wanted to announce is I was going through like what are the new bikes, because I'm looking at right now. I'm not going to be attending EICMA, so I was looking to see like what are the bikes that I'm going to miss by not going to EICMA. Kind of that was the thrust of tonight's podcast, like. What would be the new shit that I would be really excited about to see in Milan? A bike that's going to be fresh, a bike that is going to be that the manufacturers are very excited about, a bike that they're bringing out that they want people to see. And Kawasaki is pretty excited about their new for 2026, the Z1100 SE. And the Z1100 SE and the Z1100S. And the SE is just a nicer version. That's got the full IMU, which is the inertial management unit, where that gives you ABS that's specific for your cornering. It gives you traction control that's specific for your cornering, and it alters it based on the lean angle and velocity of the motorcycle, which is a very cool safety thing. Pretty badass. The SE edition comes with the Öhlins complement of suspension and Brembo front brakes, whereas the Z1100 does not. It has the Nissan brakes and it has no Öhlins. It is the regular standard suspension.
Looking into this Öhlins and stuff for certain race bikes and things. If they offer a version of the motorcycle with Öhlins, you're almost stupid to not buy it, because it seems like that raises the price like $2,000 on
usually
the showroom floor. But if you try to buy the individual parts or even cartridges, you're looking at $4,000.
Oh, I guarantee.
Yeah,
and especially when they're packaging it as a double deal, where you're getting the Brembo shit, and you're getting the Öhlins stuff for a $2,000 price difference or $1,000 price difference.
Just get it out of the box. Get it.
You got to. It's worth it, man.
Yeah, I tend to agree. It really does make the bike handle so much better.
On the big screen, I was trying to connect to it.
Oh, okay. That's just if you can just cast to what they call Office.
Well, I'm seeing TLC Roku TV 529.
Yeah,
What's
but
that one?
that might be that one up there. So the lower one, it's Chromecast handle is Office, but you can try throwing to it.
I don't think so.
Okay, but onto this. So this is their big heavy hitter. Like, this is the bike that they're saying is Kawasaki's making a news story about this bike. And I looked at it and I was like, kind of looks fucking vaguely familiar, man. Like, it doesn't look like a new bike to me. So it took me about 3 minutes to figure out that it's not a new bike. It is the Kawasaki Z1000 SE from 2016. So in 2016, we had this motorcycle. 10 years ago, we had this bike. The difference was it was a 1000 cc. It made 140 horsepower and it had 80 pound-feet of torque 10 years ago. Now it's an 1100 cc motorcycle with a couple less horsepower and a couple, like 1 or 2 more torques. And that got me thinking as I started looking at all the new offerings from all the different manufacturers and the shit that they were bringing out to EICMA that they were super excited about. New models for 2016, new models for 2026. And I'm noticing a trend, and I believe the trend is we're not actually going to have brand new bikes because the economy doesn't allow it. Market's not up. Everybody's not selling as many motorcycles they used to. You don't want to do an unveiling of, there we go, John. Thank you very much. Oh, that gets the job done. That's cool. That's what you're looking at. And I absolutely do not like the way the headlights look on that bike. To me, it has the smoosh nose look that my GSX-S 1000 has. I don't care for it. It's just not my thing. But then again, they didn't build it for me. I'm not that kind of a buyer. So, yeah, there it goes. So, long and short of it is,
And it moves.
are we okay, or is this just the manufacturers just doing the best that they can? Because they know that their numbers are down 30% over last year. And last year, they were down 20% before the year before that. Are they just saying, okay, let's just cruise through 2026. Let's just offer something that doesn't have a large upfront build cost, where we can do something like, okay, instead of the 1000cc engine, BT dubs that we don't make anymore anyway, because this is a motor that finds itself in other 1100cc motorcycles from the same brand. So that might be the kind of thing that the manufacturer might literally be saying, okay, let's just bring out something we can afford. Let's bring out something that's not going to cost us a lot of money to bring to market.
That's the 2016.
That's the 16. And from some angles, the 16 looks better than the 26 does.
Kind of like the green wheels.
I like the green wheels. Now, here's the trick, is you're going to buy the 2026. Granted, it has the IMU if you pay for the SE package. Granted, it has the Oleans, which if you pay for the SE package. However, it's going to cost you about $9,000 more than finding a 2016 with 3,000 miles on it. So I today took 5 minutes and I found a handful of extremely low miles, and some of them were SE editions with fancy suspension on them. Year of our Lord 2016 bikes. Now, granted, it is a 9-year-old bike, but it's a 9-year-old bike that you can buy for $7,000 or $6,000 and not pay the freight, the assembly, the destination charges, and all the other things that are going to turn this $14,000 MSRP motorcycle into a $17,000 MSRP motorcycle. So I'm noticing a trend, and we're going to notice that about some of the motorcycles we're going to talk about today, which are all, by the way, every bike we're going to talk about is a new for 2026 motorcycle, because that's the deal. We have AIM Expo coming up in January, and we have EICMA coming up right meow. So consider that these are the two big events, and they're all about what's new for 2026. So in the spirit of that, that's going to be the discussion this evening. Here's what killed me about that is when I went on Facebook, that's a really clean one. Somebody's already farkled the fuck out of that one. They put all the Go Fast and good suspension stuff on that one to begin with, and I believe that one was 7,000.
Yeah, I like the white letter tires, Jana. Yeah.
Again, on the right bike, and this is not a true Cafe Racer sport bike. These are the Street Fighter style bikes.
I just don't like the earwig smashed head.
Yeah,
I don't.
And the headlight that looks like it's been pushed down the front forks. You know, it's like, oh, we don't want the headlight up there. Push it down a foot.
Well, when the kids put the antennas up or the mirrors up like this, it looks like a bug.
It does always look like a bug. Yeah, absolutely always looks like a bug. Okay, on to the next one. Royal Enfield.
Hey.
Well, Royal Enfield, my friends, you went plaid on this one. I give you absolute credit. The Royal Enfield has brought out the Goan, Goan, and if you're not familiar, they said this is about Indian, and I mean not feather dot, Indian motorcycling of the 70s is what they said is the inspiration for this. So it's got a little peace and love vibe to it, but the colors of the one are just fantastic. The blue and red bike with the mini ape handlebars. It looks like an old Bullet 500. It looks like an old Bullet 350, but it's got white wall tires on it, and it's got these cute little mini apes on it. It's a really fun little retro bobber, and it is a fun little fuel injected 350cc retro bobber.
I'm not feeling it.
Well, and that's the trick is, when we look at this thing, the coloring, it's teal, and then it has this really interesting red insert on the tank, and then in the red insert, there's what looks like lace, or I just said they look like peacock feathers.
It reminds me of like a knockoff of golf coloring. The baby
also,
blue.
Yeah, it does.
I threw up a little bit in my mouth when I looked at it, but then
red wheels, teal body.
But then I looked at the red and black one, and I'm like, that's a good looking bike.
The red and black one. So I think they're literally saying we can have this bike for people that are. We can have this bike for people that are.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, that's a beautiful bike. White wall tires. You know, the blood burgundy red rims. It's a cool looking bike.
I do like the teal. I think it's cute.
Where's the teal?
The teal?
Can you just pipe up the teal, John?
Give John a minute to find the teal.
Are we talking about the Gorilla?
No. We're still talking about the going. But
Maybe hit the going and see if they.
But I really did think that Royal Enfield, and we're going to talk about this later. Royal Enfield's one of the few motorcycle manufacturers that actually has better numbers this year. That numbers didn't go down; their numbers went up, and they went way up. And I think it's shit like this. I think it's affordable motorcycles in that 350 to 400 cc class that are just killing it. And I feel like that, you know, from a marketing standpoint, lean into where your customers are. If your customers have no fucking money, don't produce $12,000 motorcycles, right?
I don't hate that.
I don't hate it. It looks cool. I mean, it looks cute.
It's Trip Teal.
Trip Teal is what
or Rave Red.
I don't know. It's a little carnival ride to me. That's
Exactly.
all I'm
That's
saying.
it reminds me of these Jeeps you see where the guys like paint the door hinges and like everything they can take off and spray paint or change.
That's the kid who said, I got an XS650. Will you work on it? And it's like, yep, he did the carnival.
He did the carnival ride.
Even if you kind of can get away with it for a while, like when I walk out every time to the garage, I see my Africa Twin. I'm like, that's a good looking fucking bike. It's a good looking bike. Yeah. I think after like a week, you'd be like,
I'm tired of that.
Yeah.
Right. I get it. Now here's the thing: is $52.99. So again, they're hitting you at that $52.99 price point. Now, I've ridden my share of Royal Enfield 350s, and they do not bring fire and excitement into my heart. They don't. They feel a lot like my TW200. You know, they give the same kind of power delivery. So it's not a bike for me, but for somebody's first bike, it's a really good bike. Motorsmith Garage says, respectfully, fuck that teal bike. Yeah, okay, I get it.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, totally. But again, if you're aiming towards the young kid market, the guy who's buying his first motorcycle, it's going to get some attention. Or maybe the girl who's buying her first motorcycle.
Maybe you live in Goa.
Maybe you live in Goa. That's true. That's right. You might live in Goa. It might be the hottest thing running. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's pretty
respectfully, I'm going to fuck you.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, there's a first time for everything.
Definitely not it.
I don't know.
I remember when we were at the AIM show, there was a Royal Enfield that looked like it had a White Castle color scheme going on.
When we were at the AIM show, they had a contest for dealers to make their own take on a 350 Enfield. Yeah. And they had done that while we were Enfield dealers way back in the day.
I remember that.
With the C5s. And they were like, okay, dealers, if you want to build a bike build-off bike, we will give you a C5 at dead cost. And then you may do whatever you want to it. Just enter it in the motorcycle show, and we're going to pick one, and one's going to win. And what we did with ours was we literally put a Harley-Davidson Sportster 16-inch back wheel on it, took a Honda CB750 fender, cut it down, and made it hug the back tire super tight. And then put a 21-inch pizza cutter front wheel on the front, did the same. At first, we did a fender elimination on it, then we made a little tiny fender for it. And we took everything off that motorcycle that didn't make it go. We put a fun little set of exhaust, a fun little bub exhaust on it, and it was
J.C. Whitney taillight.
That was literally J.C. Whitney taillight, and we built a poor man's bobber. And it was a great bike, and it looked beautiful because it was the burgundy metallic with the chrome two-tone. And it was a beautiful looking bike. And we showed up at the IX Center Motorcycle Show. And
where did that go?
I sold it to a guy.
Okay.
Yeah. And I keep waiting for the guy to call me and be like, hey, man, I got no miles on this. You want to buy it back? And I'll be like, sure, I'll buy it back. It's fine.
He's rocking it.
It was a cool little bike. And I took it everywhere. And no matter where I took it, I'd take home a trophy on that bike. Because everyone thought that it was a 1950s motorcycle that we had tarted up. And the only problem with it is it didn't look beat up enough. It looked fresh. And because it looked fresh, then it was like, oh, I think that's a new Enfield. Like, yeah, that is a new Enfield. And that's what you can do for about $300.
And you can too.
$400. And you can too. Exactly. It wasn't an expensive build. It was a super cheap seat of the pants build. And we took home trophy for that bike. So I really, really liked it. And it was a fun promotion that Enfield did way back then, 2015 or whatever that was. So they did that again at the AIM Expo, and they had a bunch of different versions of the 350 there, the Bullet 350. Super fun, super cool. And then what you got there, Sleepy?
That's the AIM show with all the Royal Enfields.
Oh, that's the whole stack. Yeah, there you go.
There they were.
Yeah.
So that was it. They had like 15 of them all lined up. Look, these are all Royal Enfields.
Yeah.
This whole thing.
Yeah, all custom builds and all just beautiful. We saw Larry Fletcher there. He was running the show. Very cool, very great experience overall. Just a really, really good time.
Videos.
And look at that. Does that look familiar?
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Pay attention to what you see at the show, folks. It might be on the Mart dealer's floor next year. Because sure as hell, they snuck that in on you, right?
There it is. There's the White Castle looking one.
There's the White Castle looking one. And there's the Gorilla.
That one was kind of cool. I didn't mind that.
Well, the Gorilla's a modern product. You can buy that now too.
Yep.
So that's available to the consumer product. So yeah, very.
But they had a lot. It was cool. But anyway,
They did. They hit it hard.
If you're interested, the video's on Motor Stories More. It's up there. Yeah, we have a whole trip on there. We have
the whole AIM Expo is at Motor Stories and More.
Yeah.
So it's super, super cool. And again, hit us, China. Like, go ahead. Just fucking go crazy. Hit us, make it crazy. The biggest QJMotor / Benelli that we can get in the United States right now is 750, I think. The TRK or the...
You don't have the 802? TRK 802?
Is that available now? I thought it was just 750 for us, but anyway.
They had that at the AIM show, did they not?
I believe they did. We sat all over it.
We sat on it.
Well, guess what, folks? Guess what's going to be at the AIM show this year? The 900.
Ooh.
Oh.
So the 900 has been announced. Photographs have been rendered. John, can you pull up the show notes? There's literally a link there. And if you can't pull up the show notes, I'll just hand this to you.
I'm trying to get it.
Yeah. If you can't, I'll hand it to you. Because my phone ringeth off the goddamn hook over this bike. And it has caused me no small amount of customers calling me and saying, hey, I want to order this. And I'm like, you want to order what? Oh, I want to order that new sidecar rig from Benelli. And I'm like, Benelli does not have a new sidecar rig. Best as I can tell, Benelli is not in the sidecar rig making business right now. And they're like, yeah, no, I saw it on the website. It's there. It exists. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not. I actually had to go to the Benelli website or the QJMotor website and find a picture of this damn thing. And yeah, they do, in fact, they have cobbled together a sidecar rig for their Monster 900. For their 900 adventure
the
bike.
boxes didn't slow it down enough.
Right. They're claiming 95 horsepower.
Oh, okay.
Right? So this is their new motor. So they're claiming 95 horsepower. They're claiming all the stuff, right? And again, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, so we're going to have to check it out. I made the mistake though because I was tracking down, excited guy number 2 who, no, they've got it and it's coming here. And I talked to a guy and he said it's going to be in America in 6 weeks. And I want to get my order in right now because I want a sidecar rig. I want an adventure bike with a sidecar rig. And so I was like, dude, chill the fuck out, man. Where are you calling me from? Texas. And I'm like, so, you called six Benelli QJMotor dealers. We're listed as a QJMotor dealer. He found a QJMotor dealer that picked up his phone, me, and then he proceeded to explode my phone about this bike he was going to buy. So I politely put him on, took his information. So let me do some research. Let me call my rep, and I'll get right back with you.
Fly in. You can ride it home.
So I did, and I made the mistake of going to the QJMotor website. Not the American, not QJMotor USA. That's 8 bikes. Don't get excited, folks. I went to the QJMotor. It's called global.qjmotor.com. I went to their website. Here you go. Do you think you can get that from Transpro faster than the SSR? Dude. Matt, don't fucking threaten me, baby. I got the Transpro sheet right here. We'll make orders.
Goddamn button.
Yeah, we will make orders from Transpo right now because according to the Transpro, that's right, Matt. I'm glad you asked. According to the Transpro website, they've got the SRT 800 SX, which is the same bike, for $61.75. $61.75. So anyway, I went to the fucking QJMotor China, like the world website. Friends, they have 134 motorcycles listed on their website. I finally found somebody who has more models than KTM. And a lot more, like 100 more.
You sent that link. I was like, holy shit.
They have 100 more models than KTM. It goes on for days. I mean, fucking days, how many bikes are available. And it's bonkers how much. And there's a lot of really cool, interesting bikes on there. But keep in mind, this is QJMotor. And in case you weren't sure how big of a company they are, they have 134 listings. And they don't offer 9 versions of the same exact bike. They offer like 70 different bikes, maybe 2 ways each or 3, whatever. Crazy lineup. Absolutely batshit lineup. Crazy nuts, man. And it does bring it home about like what we get in the United States is absolutely throttled back.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have the protection of NHTSA. So like if you want to bring a bike into the United States of America, you have got to get it through NHTSA. DOT, no, you can lie your way through DOT. EPA, now that's a motherfucker. You're going to have to take a bike apart. You're going to have to put a lot of miles on a bike.
I've been to SEMA's garage where they have the EPA, like the same rig. It's a $4 million dyno that tests the exhaust stuff with 100 bottles of actual gas to have the actual gases to compare what's coming out of your exhaust.
Exactly.
You ain't getting away with shit in those machines.
No, you're not.
Nothing.
No. It is really fine-toothed comb. And I have friends who are distributors. I have friends who are importers. They will tell anybody, if it was a matter of clicking a box on the website and saying, I want 50 of those, they would already be here. But it's not a matter of clicking a box and saying, I want 50 of those. It has to pass all the same NHTSA and EPA and DOT that the Harley-Davidson has to pass. There is no special sauce. There's no special category because the bike is from China. And a lot of guys got fast and loose with that shit in 2006. Importing stuff under the guise of, well, it's not a motorcycle, it's a scooter because, it's got a full body work, but it's an automatic transmission, so it's a scooter, even though it's 250 cc's. That, they might have got away with that for a minute in 2006. That shit's not happening right now. So just to be aware of that, don't say it's here, so we're going to see it in 6 months. Because you consider that a company like QJMotor has to say, are we confident enough, based on the response we saw at EICMA, or based on the response we saw at the AIM Expo, are we confident enough that these dealers who walked into our booth are going to make a pre-order for 15 or 20 of these bikes each so that we can justify a multi-million-dollar spend on getting NHTSA and EPA compliance? Okay, if you've passed that hurdle, cool. How do you feel about a 66% tariff?
Right.
So if you've passed that hurdle and you think that this bike is such a rock star, it's such a sex machine, that all your dealers that walked into your booth said, $82.99? Put me in line. I'll take 3 of them.
But now they're not.
But now they're not $82.99. Now 66% is being added for China, and be lucky if it ends up being that, because we are receiving boxes, and my dealer friends are receiving boxes at the shop where a week or 2 after you get the box of shit that you ordered from whatever you ordered it from, Germany, China, wherever, Taiwan, you get a bill that says, oh, by the way, that $1,500 worth of parts you just ordered, you owe us $400 in tariffs. Well, wait a second. I already uncrated that box. I did. I priced it with my little pricey gun. I put it on my shelves and my customers bought that shit. Or I put it on my customers' bikes that were waiting on those parts.
Right.
And now I find out that those parts were all 60, 70% more expensive than I thought they were going to be. Fuck you very much. How can I go back in time and reprice those items?
Right.
Which means we can't price things now. We have to put things into quarantine.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hey, you picked up your bike last week and you paid in full?
Yep.
We're going to have to hit you with another $50
because the exhaust you ordered, well, sad fact, just saw that happen. $925 exhaust.
Oh.
MSRP, $925. My cost, $725, right? Made $2 on that. Made $200 on that. And then 3 weeks later, I got a bill for $400.
Dude.
So wait, I made $200, but now I'm seeing a tariff bill for $400 on one fucking exhaust. Wouldn't it be fun to get 2 tariff bills? One, because the pipe that was sold to me from Europe actually came from China. It got put in a box in Europe. And then get a second tariff bill because the metal in the exhaust came from China.
What happens if you don't pay your tariff bill?
Interesting. Glad you brought that up. You have a federal tax ID number as a business. Try not paying your tariff bill. See what happens at the end of the year. So the first thing is they're using the shipping companies, DHL, they're using FedEx, they're using UPS to collect these tariffs. My bill came from UPS. So my bill for $400 didn't come from the guy I bought the pipe from. It didn't even come from the United States Customs Department. It came from UPS. Why? Because UPS is the company that was responsible for the shipping, and the UPS is the company that got it through customs, and UPS is the company that provided that customs paperwork when that shipped in. I didn't fill out a customs sheet when I ordered that pipe. Of course not. I'm not the guy who carried it across the border, but UPS certainly did. So UPS has to fill the form out. UPS then is responsible for paying that customs for that customs fee, and then they're trying to get the money back out of me. Now, how effective would my business be if I suddenly lost access to my UPS account? Right? Sure would love to ship you those parts, guy in Texas, but I can't use my UPS account because they've got me locked down right now. So I guess I'm going to have to send them U.S. Postal Service or whatever. So they are going after people. And what's killing us is now we are hearing stories from our friends that they're being double tariffed. They're being double dipped. They're paying for the tariff because the item in the box came from China. So it's 66%. But then they're being tariffed again because the metal in the item in the box came from China. So they're getting hit on 2 channels for the same item.
Stop saying tariff and just say tax.
It's a tax. Let's just call it what it is. Yeah, you're just being taxed extraordinarily heavily on a particular item.
And I would, and the money doesn't go to help fund businesses.
It goes in a general fund.
It's just going to the government. Mm-hmm. It's not going to like, oh, okay, you got a tariff on a Chinese motorcycle. Right. Well, we're going to give that money to Harley Davidson. Not that I really necessarily agree with that.
But that's what it was.
We could split it up between Harley Davidson and Indian, and anybody who's making motorcycles in this country gets that subsidy from these tariffs.
When it was Janus.
Janus,
you can apply.
When it was the 700cc rule back in 1983, that's exactly how they did it.
Macco Fresh for president.
There you go, Macco Fresh for president. I approve of all that. But so it is becoming an issue. It's something that we had a guy call the shop today and said, hey, I need this part. And I was like, yeah, you're going to need to give me your VIN and you're going to need to give me the part number, right? Because it's a very small part, and honestly, if I spend time digging through the archives trying to find this fucking part for you, he goes, I got it, I got it. He gave me his VIN, he gave me the part number. Sounds like you've been through this. Yeah, you're the 4th shop I called. Okay.
Click.
And I was like, so I'm the 4th shop you called? He goes, yeah, nobody has this part. And I went, that seems unlikely. It seems like a pretty common part. So I was like, give me your name and number, let me look it up. And sure as shit, my supplier doesn't have it. So I called my supplier and I said, that's a pretty high-speed part. Why don't you have any? He goes, because we didn't order any because we don't want to pay massive shit hammer tariffs on boxes coming in, containers coming in, on a part that we're only going to make $4 on, and then to have that $4 taken away from us when we get the tariff bill. Keep in mind, in that situation, Unky Phil at ClevelandMoto is not getting the tariff bill. My U.S. parts distributor is getting the tariff bill. And if you think I was grousing about an exhaust system with a $400 tariff, imagine being the guy who orders shit by the 40 or 53-foot container who's now got a $2 million tariff bill on $1 million worth of parts. And he's the small business in the United States who we buy parts from. And I imagine for a lot of companies like Supertrap and a lot of companies that sell a lot of stuff that motorcycle people love to buy, or Parts Unlimited, or Western Power Sports, I contacted Parts Unlimited. Hey man, we need some of these inner tubes. We need them yesterday. How come you guys have been backordered on these things for fucking 70 days? Tariff. Well, tariff didn't keep you from shipping those parts in. no, we can't sell them until we know what tariff we're going to pay on them. And you can't research ahead of time and know what the tariff bill is going to be. What we are demanding of our suppliers is, hey, before I order the things that I need from you, the things I need to run my business, before I order it, can you at least tell me what my tariff is going to be so I can price the customers accordingly? And they're saying, no, we can't. Because of this idea of these multiple cumulative tariffs, they think it might be 66% or 30% or 15%, depending on where it is. And then they find out, well, your part came from India, which is a 40% tariff, but the metal used in the hanger on that exhaust was from China, and that's got a 100% tariff or a 66% tariff on it.
Well, at least it's good news that these tariffs don't change every 3 weeks.
Correct. And this is the idea of why they are literally they're holding off their orders. But I'm going to give you one worse while we're on the topic, in case that wasn't bad enough. One of my favorite distributors and now has a we don't ship to the USA rule.
Oof.
So now it's not a question of I need it, so I'm going to pay the extra 60%. Now it's a question of they won't fucking ship it to me. Because the hoops that they have to jump through to get the thing into the United States, when they ship that part to Italy, they don't have to tell the people in Italy where the metal came from in the bracket that holds the exhaust on. They just ship the goddamn thing. Go ahead.
So have them shipped to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I got a boat. I'll run over.
Bootleg it, baby. Bootleg it. Bootleg that shit back over, right? Bootleg that shit. Bootleg it back over.
Dude, they'll probably blow up your boat.
Oh, God. They're good at that. They're getting real good at that. You won't even hear it coming. So when you contact a dealer or we contact a parts supplier and they're like, yeah, we're back ordering on those. We don't have any of those right now. Don't become a pissy little bitch. Because it's happening to everybody right now. And I'm watching my friends who run these businesses go out of business. Every day I'm learning about a new one. And it pisses me off because these guys have their heart and their souls in their business. But if the customers aren't buying bikes because the economy's not doing great or they don't have disposable income, at least they're going to work on the bikes they already have. But when they're bikes they're bringing in to be worked on that they already have, which is the other way my shop can stay in business, are log jammed in my service department because I've been waiting 16 fucking weeks to get a fender. Then nobody's making any money. The customer's not riding their bike. I've been waiting. I got a bike that needs a fucking wheel and I can't get the wheel. And the hilarious thing was I found a wheel for it on eBay in the UK. And as soon as I bid on it in eBay in the UK, Marcia Thompson, this is going to be a huge fucking problem for weird Italian bikes that I happen to like. It is. And this wheel that I can only get in the UK, as soon as the seller found out that I was in the US, he was like, I'm not going to send it to America. Because he knows that when he sends it to America, that there will be a tariff on that item.
Well, here's the thing, too. Yeah. It's all just instability. Mm-hmm. Because, imagine you're like, you know what? There's a huge tariff on said part.
Right.
You know what? I'm going to spend $1 million to start making that part here so I can take an advantage of it. No way, because it could just go poof, and all of a sudden the tariff goes away, and you've already invested this money. You've got a building half built. You've got machines half paid for, which you're going to have to pay tariffs on if they're not built here. And then all of a sudden the tariff goes away, and you're like, oh, no. Now they're buying them back from China.
And this is why, because the person that put the tariffs in is a fucking light switch, because that guy changes his mind and swipes his Sharpie and things change. These guys that I normally order shit from, these guys aren't ordering it because they don't want to be holding the bag this month and pay an extra $2 million or $1 million to get their container in. And then 3 months from now, the tariff goes away. Most of these guys don't have an extra $4 or $5 million set aside to just buffer tariffs.
I think that's what just happened to our good buddy here, Zimbo.
Zimbo 1212. I went into a Triumph dealer in Cincinnati today and was told to fuck my hat that they are no longer selling new bikes. It was a very odd experience. Oof. Okay, what you're experiencing, Zimbo, my friend. One, if your dealer tells you that they're not selling new bikes, what the dealer might actually be telling you is they are not bringing in any more product from India because India is currently running, I believe, at a 40% tariff. And so they are taking a time out on importing items from India because they don't want to pay an extra 40% on a bike that they're going to MSRP at $49.99, and they're going to have a hard time MSRPing that bike at $64.99. Okay? They know that they won't be able to sell that bike at $64.99. So perhaps the distributor said, hey guys, take a time out. Let's wait and see if somebody changes their mind. And we might lose some sales right now, but the last thing we want to do is import 5,000 bikes and have a 40% tariff on each of those 5,000 bikes, and then we only sell 300 of them, and the tariff goes away. Then we've paid an unnecessary tariff on 4,700 bikes. Once that tariff's paid, it never comes back. You can't apply to get your tariff money refunded to you, right? Once it's gone, it's gone. And so that's the fear. Oh, Tanuki's up. Drink. You know, I don't want it to turn into tariff talk with Unky Phil, but that's exactly what we're dealing with. And that's why he just had that experience at his local Triumph dealer. I had a customer call me. Well, I had a customer appear on a social media forum that said he was told by Moto Guzzi that Moto Guzzi was not importing any more motorcycles to the United States. That was a bold statement. It was a very bold statement. Now, okay, there's a shred of truth in there. And the shred of truth is Moto Guzzi still has units in the warehouse. And until the units in the warehouse are sold, I don't blame them for not wanting to bring in a bunch of units that are taxed at minimum 15%. But keep in mind, guys, if you think you understand the tariffs, I invite you to come to my shop. I will show you my breakdown for a modern motorcycle. And if you think it's 15% because it comes from Italy, I'm going to introduce you to the components on that motorcycle that don't come from Italy. And yes, some fuckknuckle has taken the time to figure out that they don't need to get 15% on the motorcycle when they can get 15% on the motorcycle, but then get 40% on the brakes.
Oh, so they don't consider it that's not a one unit. That is now individual parts.
And
that
get
happen to be in a box.
50% on the steel.
Oh, fuck, man.
Because the steel comes from another place. Okay? And our friend Andrew Taylor up in Michigan, who worked for Ford and was talking about he did the lighting systems in the Fords, and that his components would have to routinely jump back and forth across the Canadian border. The light bulb starts in the USA, but it has to go up into Canada to be made into a subassembly. When it comes from the subassembly back into the United States, it pays a tariff as it goes from Canada back into the United States. It goes to another assembly process where it gets put into a grill. That grill goes up to Canada again to be put into a Ford F-150 truck in Windsor, Ontario. And then that F-150 truck comes back across the border here where it's tariffed yet again for that same component has been across the border multiple times paying tariffs the whole way. Now, they're adjusting for that right now, trying to make that fucking make sense. But they have not yet carried that through to our industry because remember that first group I told you about, that Ford? They got themselves a little handful of lobbyists to make sure that their needs are represented in the government. We do not. So your new Ducati, your new MV Agusta, your new thing that has entered this country after August 9th or April 9th, depending on whatever it was, you don't have any representation. If they want to say, hey, we're tariffing you on the brakes are Chinesium. The seat comes from China, right? And that's why the manufacturers, and that's why my friend in Europe says we're not shipping to the United States anymore because I don't want to create a 7-page sheet for every item I sell you that is the breakdown of where the nut comes from that holds the exhaust on. And where the spring comes from that holds the exhaust to the frame. I don't want to give you a 14-page bill of lading for every item that's in that exhaust I'm selling you so they can tax all these items at different rates or tariff these items at different rates. If you think it's madness, you're right. It's insane and it's killing small businesses. If you're not sure it's killing small businesses, contact me. I'll give you the names and addresses of the businesses that are being killed.
And this isn't just one industry. Think of other, tractors, sewing machines, every other fucking thing.
Yeah. So this is something that is affecting all of us, and it's affecting our consumers who desperately want what? I just want to keep my bike on the road. I bring the bike into the shop because I have a broken bike. I need to have my broken bike fixed. Well, guess what? Sad but true, when your dealer says that part exists, I have a part number for it, but there are not any of these in the United States right now. Well, when will they be here? Well, when would you order it? if it was your money, and if you had to order a container of parts this month to satisfy your back orders, how excited would you be to order a container full of parts right now? The answer is probably not too fucking excited, especially not if your website still has an MSRP on that price, on that part, that doesn't reflect what the part currently is. Would anyone like to guess what an inner tube costs for a 10-inch vintage Vespa tire?
Like originally, what, like $8?
Yeah.
And then now?
24.
Oh.
Ugh. Okay? That's a fucking inner tube, guys. That's a one item, and it's tripled in price. So, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Matthew Digman says, can confirm this affects tractors. That's my area of expertise. Yeah, it affects all of us, man. It's hitting us all like fucking right between the goddamn eyes. It is madness. It is the definition of madness. Why it's happening, I don't know. But what I can tell you is it's leaving nothing left over to live on. It's absolutely leaving nothing. And when a guy comes into my shop and is like, I told Renee, I was like, yeah, we got to order about 24 more of those inner tubes. We're out. We're out of 3.5x10s. We're just out of them. We usually have 100 in stock. We haven't ordered them in a while. Let's order a bunch. $24 a piece. From $8 to $24. That's insane. Do you know why? Because it's a Michelin not a shitty, not the world's worst inner tube, a fucking Michelin, an air stop, a legit, real good inner tube, $24. That's not a good way to live, And what actually it's doing is it's making people leave the good products. And what they're doing is they're saying, okay, I'm not going to buy the Michelin air stop anymore, the good tube. I'm going to buy the Fling Poo cycle gear one that, that used to be $7 a tube, but now it's only 14. But it's a shitty tube. Like, I don't want to sell that. That's not what I want to sell at my shop. I don't want to have the customer come in with, pinch tube every fucking time he tries to mount it. So, yeah, it's a fucking dicey, shitty deal right now for that. I digress. On to other things.
Ducati?
Dude, fucking Ducati. Fucking Ducati. 0 to 60 in 2.43 seconds. I don't think anything exists on the planet that goes from 0 to 60 in 2.43 seconds. The Diavel
That camera hates you.
V4 RS. Right. Yeah. The Ducati Diavel V4 RS is insane. It is just fucking madness.
It would look better if it looked more like an earwig.
If this motorcycle wasn't strategically designed, I think the entire design team never left a quarter mile. I think their entire, they found a quarter mile drag strip in Italy, and they were like, this is where we live, boys.
I've never
is it.
I've never ridden one, but I've talked to a couple people. You'd think that they're going to be this hog of you can't ride it. And supposedly they handle really fucking well too.
I've ridden a couple of Diavels. We had a couple of customers bring them in for tires or that basic service kind of things. I've ridden them around, and I felt the same way about the Diavel that I kind of felt about a VMAX. I was like, it's a really fucking scary, powerful bike, but it's it's a little piggy, it's a little chonky, whatever. This one isn't. They fixed that. They fucking fixed that. That's all I have to say. They fucking fixed it.
2.43 seconds. Also, how long I last in bed. Moto Smith.
Moto Smith. Gotta love you, man. This thing's a fucking beast. This is a monster. We had the world's fastest electric motorcycle in my shop for a long time. We had the Energica right there.
That was sick.
The EVA. Jump on it, and you are going from 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds every single time. You couldn't make it not go from 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds.
Zero wheel lift if you didn't want it. Nothing. You didn't have to fear anything.
Nothing. And then we had the Zero SRS, which would go at about 2.9, right? So these two bikes were like 1/10 of a second away from each other, 0 to 60, because that's what the computer wanted. And now we have a machine that has boom booms. And it has like shit tons of valves and shit tons of cylinders and shit tons of explosions all happening at the same time, and a clutch. Mm-hmm. Right? And it still beats it, and it's faster.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Does it have launch control?
It has to have.
Yeah,
it has to have.
You have to.
Sleepy. It must have the launch control of the gods.
Yeah.
In fact, what it does is when you sit on the bike, it shoots a piece of wire out a quarter mile in front of your bike, And when you let go of the brake, it just pulls the bike to the other end of it. That's all it does. It's just a big spring in there. It's just a big spring. It shoots the spring out when you sit on the bike, and when you let go of the brake, it just pulls the bike to where the spring is. It's just astonishingly fast. Of course, it's going to cost you $40,000.
Oh,
I know.
pocket change.
It has a giant RS on the gas tank too. It's a pretty bike, and they're telling you it's got a destination charge of $12.95. You know, they're gonna throw another.
Wait, what country does that come from?
It comes from Italy, my friend. So there'll be a 15% tariff on that as well.
Yeah, so that 40,000 is not actually 40,000.
No, you're never going to be able to leave the showroom for 40,000.
Oh, no. See, I would have done it at 40, but once you get that tariff in there,
once you throw a 15% tariff in there, shit gets weird. And what other folks aren't aware of too, if you haven't been paying attention, walk into your local dealership, and if you're like me, I take pictures of all the tags. So when I visit my friends' dealerships, when I visit dealerships anywhere in the world, I just take pictures of the tags. Because I know what our tag looks like. Our tag has the MSRP. We have the freight that we actually pay. Mm-hmm. And I'll give an example. So like you get a Moto Morini, the price of the bike is, $63.99. And then the freight on that Moto Morini was $650. We charge $240 for the assembly. If you've been to my shop and you've helped assemble a bike, you know that the $240 is money well spent.
Yeah, it's not something you do in 2 minutes.
No, it's not. They don't come out of the box ready to go. In fact, sometimes you got to struggle fuck them out of a metal crate using hoists and cranes and all kinds of crazy shit. Sometimes a relatively simple bike, can take 4 hours to prep. It just depends on the bike.
Or how about just when a big fucker would come in?
Yeah.
Like a V7 or something that's actually
not
heavy.
a V7. How about the California 1400?
Okay, but the ones that did no front wheel on it.
Yeah. Right.
And then you're like, okay, I got to jack the front of this fucking bike up to put the wheel on to get it out of this crate.
I have a tip for you in case you guys weren't wondering. How do we know when a motorcycle shows up at our shop if it's going to have the front wheel or the back wheel or both wheels taken off of it? Look how wide the truck is. 18-wheelers are a standard width. If your motorcycle that you're shipping in is wider than the standard width of the back of the 18-wheeler, it will have one or two of its wheels not installed when it comes out of the crate. Now, that might seem like no big deal for most people. I've put wheels on bikes before. How hard could it fucking be? Well, let me tell you, my friends, you've taken the wheel off of your bike. It had a wheel on it. You put it on a milk crate. Yeah. You took the wheel off, or you put tie-down straps to your garage rafters. You took the wheel off, and you put a new wheel on.
Those would be tie-up straps.
Tie-up straps. Thank you. Elevator straps. Except for when it comes in a crate, it's literally bolted to the crate.
Which might be like wood around it or steel or
wooden, super sharp steel that cuts you everywhere you touch it. You need to take out about 200 bolts out of the crate. You then need to tie the motorcycle to a balloon, to a blimp. So you tie it to a very big blimp and you tell the guy in the blimp to hit it. Or you have the crane thing, the blue crane thing that we have at the shop, which is a genius piece of equipment. And you literally struggle fuck that thing to get the bike up in the air.
He just said
Motorhub says, can't confirm. Got to struggle fucking one out of the crate. He did. Matt was at.
You must have said it. That's too much of a coincidence.
Matt was at our shop when we got the X-Cape 700 in. So when the X-Cape 700 came in, Matt was at the shop the day it showed up. And he can tell you, it is not a 1 hour job. And it was two guys. And, then once you can physically get the wheel on enough to roll it into the shop, once you get it into the shop, now you got to take the wheel off again so you can hang the calipers and do all the cool shit, right? It is not an easy thing. And I'm saying that because our shop charges $240 for prep. And I have had people go, well, I don't pay for the prep when I buy a box of Wheaties. I don't pay for the prep when I buy a new TV. Dude, you gotta shut the fuck up right now. You got to shut the fuck up right now.
I'd be like...
Because until you've put one together...
I was going to say, have you ever gone okay, you don't have to pay the prep on the other one that's in the back.
Yeah.
Let me get that one. Here's a screwdriver. Right. You got 2 hours to get out of my shop.
But for every minute you go over 2 hours, you're paying me $10.
Right.
That's fair.
And also tool rental.
Right.
Because
we could play this game forever.
Yeah.
But even if you said, here's one in the box. Here's a Royal Enfield in the box. Here's a MV Agusta. Here's a fucking whatever in the box. You guys all learned with fucking SSR 125s.
Yeah.
They showed up in the crate. Nobody got their bike done in less than an hour. No. Nobody. And that was with all the tools right there in a nice clean environment and everything ready to go. And
there are a few liquor penalties too on that.
There were some liquor penalties, and it's the most simple motorcycle in the world.
Yeah.
You know? But that's the point. We charge $240 for that. We charge $100 for title, right? That's what we charge. And then you pay whatever your tax is. Now, I don't get your tax money. That's between you and the state, right? So I'm literally charging you whatever the freight is to the penny, not upcharging your freight a penny. I'm charging you the assembly fee of $240, and I'm charging you $100 for title. I'm not charging you a $1,295 quote destination charge that has nothing to do with your freight, and they're going to charge you a document fee on top of that. Promise you, I've been to these dealers. I know how they do it. It is crazy, but here's what's gotten nuts. I told you about that $650 freight on the Moto Morini. Moto Guzzi just raised their price for the freight on the motorcycles. They raised it from $650 to $850 last year, pre-tariff. Now it's $1,050. So the freight has gone from $650 to $1,050 for the smallest Moto Guzzis, for the V7s.
You got you backed up. $240 isn't bad for prep. My Vespa dealership charged a lot more.
Yeah, I've heard some stories about some Vespa dealers charging some pretty heavy price for prep.
How does freight get more expensive?
Talk to a trucker. Seriously, I'm not joking, and I'm not trying to be. That's not a fuck you. That's not a fuck you answer. It's talk to truckers, because all the freight. So everything about being a truck driver has gotten more expensive. Everything, every part of it, and the freight costs that some of the companies we work with, I know that they're profiting on the freight. I know that some of the companies that make me order 6 bikes at a time so they can get a freight discount, like by being a big order. I know that some of those companies, because I have a telephone and I can call the freight companies and be like, hey, what is it going to cost me to ship a bike from Dallas, Texas to Cleveland, Ohio? And they're like, $525. And when I see the companies charging me $1,050, I feel a little hurt, right? Because they're making $500 on me placing the order. But most of the time, I just shipped a BMW motorcycle, uncrated, from Cleveland, Ohio to Washington or Montana. That was $1,350. That same shipment through U-Ship last year would have been about $650. I've shipped bikes all over America for years and years and years. These freight prices have gone up. The tolls have gone up. The operation expenses have gone up. Jesus Christ, a night in a motel used to be $70. It ain't anymore, right? So...
And truck tires and everything else, too. You know?
All the maintenance items involved with that 18-wheeler or that truck doing the delivery are all much higher than they used to be, plus the dollar's worth less. So the dollar's worth less, it doesn't go as far. The inflation has hit everything. So when we see that Guzzi has gone from, and I'm not going to use Guzzi as the only one because it's happened to all of them, but when we see that Guzzi's gone from $650 to $1,050 in a matter of, a year, holy shit, that's a big increase. That's a giant increase. And that all goes to the consumer, 100% to the consumer. So be careful when you see motorcycles that are like, oh, Harley Davidson charges a flat rate for freight. Every Harley Davidson used to be $1,200. I called the dealer last week. It's $1,550. So they went from a $1,200 that was a complete and utter cash grab for $1,200, and now it's $1,550 for flat rate for Harley Davidsons. So yeah, it's really, really expensive, guys. Super expensive. So yeah, just to be aware when you're looking at brand new vehicles, the prices. Be careful and look carefully about is there going to be a tariff on the vehicle you're buying? Right now, I'm lucky enough. 90% of my inventory I have in my shop is pre-tariff. It's great because I spent money like a drunken sailor in February. When I saw the tariffs coming, I was like, I'm buying it all. And what I've been lucky enough to do is in the past 2 months, I've been able to buy inventory from dealers that are going out of business. Now that sucks for the dealers that are out of business. But what they don't want to do is the manufacturer doesn't want these units, these bikes, to end up at National Power Sports Auction.
Yeah. Because
when they end up at National Power Sports Auction, we've seen Benelli TNT 135s that are normally a $34.99 MSRP item selling brand new at National Power Sports Auction. Dealers only, $900 a piece.
And that's the guy showed up at Mid-Ohio and was selling the QJs for what?
$1,200.
Yeah.
Cash and carry. He made $300 on every one of them, 33% profit margin. It's good if you can get it, right? But that's an example. That's a great example of does the manufacturer want to take that thing to auction, get $900 for it, and pay a 15% seller's fee, plus the shipping to get it there? Or do they want the next dealer next door to come and get all that inventory and give them 45% off or 40% off? They definitely want to give them 40% off because they ain't making shit if they sell it at National Power Sports Auction, because that's literally wholesaling it out.
Yeah.
And that's not even like, oh, there's going to be a set price. That's you're hoping that the guys that are there, that are waving their paddles, are going to pay anywhere close to how much money you got into that bike, which in the case of $900 a piece, it's not. They're losing their ass on those. Mm-hmm. They did lose their ass, but they don't have any better way to liquidate it, and Wells Fargo owns all those bikes. So don't make the mistake of thinking that Johnny the dealer owns them. Don't make the mistake of thinking that the distributor owns them. Wells Fargo owns that bike. That bike was floored at that dealership through Wells Fargo. And Wells Fargo might be willing to take a lower price than the manufacturer would or the dealer. So, yeah, so that's why it is in the best interest for a guy like myself you can either wait until it hits NPA and try your luck at NPA, or you can just get right there to that city where they're putting a warehouse and buy them from the manufacturer, from Wells Fargo.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing.
I have breaking news.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
So I'm introducing my first product.
Oh.
It's going to be available soon through Moto Stories. It is my DOT-approved headband.
Oh,
So
DOT-approved headband.
You can legally ride your Harley.
Nice.
If you really want to still look cool.
I like that.
Yeah, so when the cops ask you, you say, excuse me, sir, it is DOT-approved.
It is DOT-approved, sir.
Right. So that'll be coming out in a couple weeks.
This is DOT-approved headband.
And there's no tariffs, and it's going to be under $8.
My buddy Brian Bedell did DOT-approved flip-flops on a shirt that he made. I thought that was a good idea for the scooter riders, the DOT-approved flip-floppers. All right. Cool thing from Yamaha. You know, so many times we see apps for these manufacturers, these motorcycles, and the apps usually suck.
As discussed earlier.
But Yamaha's got a cool one. Yamaha has got Y Connect. I don't know, Yamaha, why?
Why not?
Why not? But in their Y Connect app, not only can you do all the things we were talking about earlier, which is the navigation and listen to your music and all that kind of crap, download pictures of your ex-girlfriend while you're riding, all that cool shit. But not only that, but it gives you the ability to what? Lock your motherfucking motorcycle at a biblical level. And I'm talking about, like, what do they call that? 2 layers of confirmation?
Two-factor.
Two-factor authentication, just so you can ride your bike. But what's really good is that keeps other people from riding your bike. So even if somebody's got the keys to your bike, right? You can still make sure that bike don't go nowhere. I think that's really freaking smart. So, and I also think the other element of it is if your bike isn't where you left it, you can not only see where it is,
Oh yeah,
but you can turn it off.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Can other people turn it off? Like,
well,
come on, hon. I'm like my bike.
You know what? You're talking about
You unlock my bike, I'll unlock your vibrator. We live in a connected society.
She's like, I'll unlock the chest. You get the lawnmower out.
But all this fucking technology getting on bikes,
Yeah.
and it's my one complaint with the Moto Marini too. All these motherfuckers don't put cruise control on them.
Well,
And I
that's
get it.
just
That's a whole different
that's
thing.
just an oversight on
I
their
know.
part. That's just them being stupid.
Somebody pointed it out on my
Yeah.
review though. They probably couldn't do it easily because it is a wired. It's not
It's not throttle by wire.
Right.
Right.
And
And,
it only
throttle
has
by
two
wire
modes.
does make it super easy to do cruise control.
Right.
Right. So you'd have to spend a little bit more money.
Right.
Yeah. But I think that would have been money well spent.
I do too. I would have paid an extra couple bucks.
What
to
did they
have
say? They said on the gauge on the Moto Marini, you can see your tire pressures,
Yes.
but it's only in kilopascals.
that. Yes.
And
Oh.
I have not learned a quick trick. Like I can do Fahrenheit to Celsius pretty quickly. I can do Celsius to Fahrenheit pretty quickly. Military time, European time, no big deal. I got all those conversions in my head. But if you're going to measure air pressure in kilopascals, are you fucking kidding me? Right? I mean, come on, man. You got to be like, there is no. And if you want to do bar, I can do bar because barometric pressure is 14.7. It's easy enough, right? Mm-hmm. Bar is even easy. But PSI makes sense. Bar makes sense. Kilopascals, I don't even understand how they get that.
Yeah, I don't like
But
that
that's
either.
the default measuring system for the tire pressure system.
and you can't change it.
And it's got the TPMS, which is brilliant.
Right.
If you understand, when you look down, you're like, oh, I got 295 kilopascals. I'm 43 kilopascals low. and it doesn't say kilopascals on the side of the tire, so I don't have a frame of reference where to go from.
Right.
And there's no sticker on the side of the bike that says that the tire pressure should be X kilopascals either.
I have to put in like 1 to convert it, and then like 50 below it, convert it, and see what comes out.
So annoying. Yeah, that would be 1. Ambient temperature gauge, that's 2. And cruise control, that's 3. Spend the extra $12. Give me those 3 things on every motorcycle. Yeah. I will be happy. Yeah. Your motorcycle will go up. Mike gave it a 7. I think that gets it up to a 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that gets it up to a 9.
What about a Newton meter?
I don't mind the Newton meter.
I don't mind the Newton meter either. It's actually a really easy conversion in torque. Yeah, that's not a hard one. But fucking kilopascals, go fuck your hat. But the Yamaha one, I love that idea though of just being able to be like, hey man, my bike ain't where I left it. Well, now I know where it is. And fuck you. Can you imagine the guy trying to go through an intersection? He's like, yeah, I got this sweet ass bike I drove.
Or doing a wheelie. Like, you know how the Brazilian guys steal the bikes? Just imagine that. You're on a back wheelie with no shirt on and the bike goes.
I want full connectivity at that point. I want to be like, okay, there it is. Now let me look at that on a traffic camera. Okay, now I see him. There he is. There he is. There he is. He's going to go out in front of that truck, and now it was totaled. That's it. And if it's throttled by wire, I want to be able to go, oh, look, he's at 35% throttle. It'd be a shame if he went to maximum throttle right now.
Oh, that would be great.
Let's not have a small insurance claim here. Yeah. Let's total this bitch out. Yeah. I'm gonna 911. Yeah, would you like to report an emergency? No, but I'll report the shit out of a crash. Where did it happen? Nowhere near here, but I'll give you the grid coordinates. Yeah. You're gonna need 2 ambulances.
When did it happen? Hold on.
It's about to.
There we go.
I've got it scheduled for 30 seconds from now.
Oh, if you're looking down at your thing too, and if you've got if you've got your phone there, and your phone's like telling you like, there's your bike, and you're like, oh. Look at that. He's going 110, 111, 112, and off. Yeah. I love that shit. The easy KPA to PSI conversion is, hey, Siri.
Hey, Siri. For $4.99.
That's a $4.99.
That was a $5 joke.
That's a $5 tip.
Fucking Matt gave us a joke and paid $5 for it. God
I feel like
bless
we
you,
owe
Matt.
him that back.
I think we do. We'll pay you back for that one, Matt. That was really good.
That's not even a joke. That's a pro tip from your Uncle Matt.
That really was. Yeah. Well, can you imagine having that kind of thing where you're just, well, I don't know. So my communicator in my helmet is a Sena 10C, right? So I press the button on the side. That goes into the voice, beep. It does the thing way too loud all the time. Fucking hate that thing. Like, why does every song have to start at 150 decibels and then get very quiet?
Right.
Like, that's the way my helmet works. It's just the way it is. I play a song. I'm like, play Rob Zombie playlist. Playing Rob Zombie playlist. Super loud. Then it goes quiet, and I'm like,
that's Rob Zombie, Phil.
Yeah, I did. Well, I did it for Lawrence Welk too. Yes, I tried. I went hit both the bases. So
kind of going back to where we were just a minute ago, I use my Hey Siri all the time to ask what time it is because you
don't have a clock.
Yeah, I'll just say, hey, what time is it, and she'll tell me what time it is. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've got GPS on my watch, so I can do speedo confirmation when I'm traveling, and I'm like, okay, my speedo says I'm going 75. But before I do a bunch of math, road math, when you're in your head, you're like, okay, I'm going 75 miles an hour now. I'm going to be there at this amount of time.
Train A leaves the station.
I love that. But I use the GPS feature on my watch to be like, okay, Speedo says 75, watch says 68. So like, okay, now I understand. Like if I want my road math to work, I need to bump that speed up by another, 7 miles per hour.
State Trooper said 70 though.
Yeah, State Trooper said 70. Right, exactly. I'll trust the GPS watch. It's fine. Okay.
State Trooper said only go 68 because if you go 69, you blow a rod.
Whatever. Tossed a rod. That doesn't sound good. Do we have a sorrowful music? Do we have the sad music song?
Well, I don't have.
How about da 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 da?
John looks.
I was thinking like Rainy Days and Sundays.
Rest in peace. Pitt Raceway, a.k.a. BeaverRun, a.k.a. Pittsburgh International Raceway.
A.k.a. the best track
a.k.a. 1 hour and 39 minutes from where we're sitting right meow. Fucking break my goddamn heart. One of my favorite racetracks in the world to go play around on. Dude, and it's fucking closing
And it's a young track. It's only 25 years old.
It's
and it was just redone like 8 years ago.
Oh, it's fresh.
The
And they keep spending money on it, making it better.
And I was just there so many times with Summit. It's such a cool place. Like, I literally, like, before this news, like last week, I sat down and I wrote down all the tracks within 6 hours from here and like where I was going to try to hit next year on the bike. And Pitt was like the first one. I was like, I can't wait to fucking ride that track.
Oh, we used to call it like, we used to tease, we were like, VIR or Pitt, VIR or Pitt, or Barber or Pitt, Barber or Pitt. Because it was so good that we would literally be like, yeah, you know, well, we're always going to go to Pitt because it's an hour and a half away. But then all the guys that would live in Virginia and stuff would leave VIR in their backyard to come up to Pitt.
Well, it has elevation changes. It has
a good track.
Sweepers, dude. It's so good.
Very good track. So they sold it so they could put in a goddamn AI center, which is, you know, come on. AI is not even that good, all right? Not good enough for me to lose a racetrack. Piss me off, man. It really pisses me off. Well, it's going to be good for Nelson's Ledges.
That's what I was thinking. Like, they're going to definitely get some more traffic.
Oh, yeah. They're an hour away from each other.
But, like, I hate to admit it. Like, I mean, I'm bummed, like, all things. But, like, the biggest power plant in PA is literally, like a half mile from where that location is. So, I mean, it makes sense for AI. And also, there's no houses really around there, so you're not really pissing that many people
off. Cool it with the fucking AI, people.
Yeah.
There's no tariff on AI, though.
Just cool it with the AI. Next week we're going to do a thing with AI. I've got an example that I got handed to me the other day of a publication, and I was like, "This is an interesting publication." And then I realized that 80% of the publication is AI slop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So out of 30 articles in the publication, only 6 of them are written by human beings. The other 24 articles are literally AI slop.
Yeah, they got to keep this AI, just the important stuff. Like,
well, how bad is AI when AI is making it into print? So they're taking the extra step and they're taking the AI and taking out of the digital world where it should never be allowed to leave the digital world. Because at least when it's in the digital world, you can keep your skeptic's hat on and be like, well, anything can say anything in pixels. There's no requirement for proof anywhere in the world now. But when you make it into print, then it has some tangible reality to it, and people stop looking at it with the blinders on.
Yeah, when you pick up a magazine, you expect it to be written by human beings.
I don't know. There's the word they used to use called journalism.
Right.
Yeah. Right? Journalistic integrity. But now we are holding a magazine in our hand and going, 80% of what's in this magazine is AI slop that just went to the printer. How can you tell? Because the articles don't have the author's name on them.
Right. Cleveland.com has been doing it. The plain dealer.
Years. It's disgusting. And it's when you have this idea of you can propagate a piece of bad information. I may have influenced a little bit of slop myself personally. It took about 3 hours. And I got Grok to believe things that simply aren't true about the ClevelandMoto podcast. Right? Mm-hmm. Took about 3 hours. Right? It was fun. It was a fun experiment.
Yeah, I got banned from social media like 2 minutes later.
But it's one of those things is like, to build an AI center. Like, come on, man, we don't have enough. We don't have enough. But apparently,
take that track. That just sucks, man.
Yeah.
And the go-kart track too.
Everything about it.
Oh man, when we did autocross week there the last couple of years, we got to race the go-karts, and it was even that track was a fucking amazing.
It's a great track. Try the go-kart track on a 100cc Supermoto.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Try the go-kart track on a YSR kind of bike. Yeah. You fucking love it.
Oh.
Absolutely love it. Great track. Super fucking cool. Really, really dig it. All right, so. Well, you guys can bring up anything you want. I'm pulling up some data real quick.
Well, I'm just thinking about how sad that, and the way they sprung it on people.
Mm-hmm.
It's the last couple of things. I mean, think about all the guys that have track bikes that were driving 3 hours from the east.
Yeah,
and that's their only track. And now their options are going to be 5 hours, 6 hours. That's a big hole in that area.
It is. It really is. So. I have some numbers. The MIC numbers came out. That's the Motorcycle Industry Council. So you have to pay a membership fee. This is not free information. This is information that's kept behind a paywall. I pay my MIC membership because I like to actually know what's happening, or at least as much as I can know about what's happening. So don't let the manufacturers lie to you. In case you weren't sure, motorcycle sales are off by 30,000 bikes in the United States between 2024 and 2025. That means that last year, this exact month last year, we did just a hair under 400,000 motorcycles in our country. And that now we are at 359,704. Okay? That is a 30% change to the loss. So motorcycle sales, regardless of what any magazine or what any company tells you about how things aren't going so bad, don't panic, keep calm, the market's okay, it's down by 30%. That is a big goddamn number. That is reported sales by titles of motorcycles sold in the United States of America. That's it.
What were those numbers again?
The numbers are per Motorcycle Industry Council, total motorcycle sales, 2024, 389,700 bikes. Total for 2025, 359,704.
So
it's 30,000 raw numbers. That's about 10%.
It's the change, the year-to-year change is a delta of what they're saying, a total change of 30%. I do not know. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Thank you. Thank you. I was looking at the wrong line. So right now, BMW is on a loss between 2024 and 2025 of 12.5%. That's where BMW is. They went from 13,000 bikes, give or take, to around 11,000 bikes. Okay, that's BMW. Can-Am has gone from almost 10,000 bikes to 7,000 bikes. They are down.
That's 30%.
29%.
Yeah.
I was looking at the wrong line before, sorry. Ducati is up. They're up 6.3%. They went from...
That's just from YouTubers buying Panigale.
I think it is, yeah. They went from 5,000 to 5,300. But 5,000 bikes a year is not a lot of bikes. You know, remember that with BMW, we're talking around 13,000 bikes, 12,500 bikes. So BMW's selling about, a little more than a third.
That's. I always thought BMW would be much bigger than that. That's not
we do too. I felt that way too. So Honda.
That's just U.S. market.
Yeah, this is U.S. market.
True.
This is U.S. market numbers. Exactly right. So Harley Davidson went from 74,000 down to 61,000, a loss of 18%. Okay, pretty big dive for those guys too. Interestingly, got to give it to Kawasaki. Kawasaki went up 17%. So they got something. They got something going on there. Kawasaki they went from 65,000 units to 76,000 units. So they went up 11,000 bikes.
Joseph Mendel says, how can BMW be down and Starbucks is still being built?
That's very good.
Choose where to spend your money.
They are closing hundreds of stores. So.
Right. Piaggio Group, remember Piaggio Group involves Aprilia, Moto Guzzi, Piaggio, Vespa. That's a lot. That's 4 companies. Piaggio went from 7,139 bikes to 7,000 even. That's a drop of about 2%. So it's not a lot of bikes, guys. That's
negligible.
What about Triumph?
I'm going to give you Triumph. So Triumph went from 10,000 bikes. I'm sorry, let me make sure I get the lines while I interrupt. From 10,000 bikes last year, 10,200 to 9,587. So they actually lost some bikes. They didn't lose a lot of bikes. They lost, according to this sheet, about 6%, about 6.6%. So that's probably due to the lack of availability of bikes that people want to buy. I've talked to dealers here that people want to buy the 400s, they just can't get them fast enough. So, and Triumph is a company that last year was doing great. Numbers were really, really good. Their market share was excellent. And they've lost a little bit of that. So that's an interesting thing. I find that to be really, really interesting. Yamaha's almost dead even. Almost dead even. Zero went up 55%. They went up 55%. But my friends, be careful with that number because that means in 2024, they only sold 294 bikes for the whole fucking country.
What?
294 bikes for the whole country.
Oh my God.
2024 was a very bad year for Zero. They have 2 new cheaper bikes that are out that we saw at the AIM Expo when we were out in Vegas.
That's about 5.88 bikes per state.
It's pretty low. Yeah,
How much did Janice beat them?
So they did. Janice is not listed here. They don't report to MIC. So Zero they literally went from 294 to 457. That's because they have two cheaper products out there right now.
Is Live Wire listed?
Let me see if Livewire is listed. Livewire is not listed.
The whip on a bike.
Yep. Livewire. Oh, yeah. The Shanky's whip on the race bike is so fucking beautiful. That is so cool looking. Yeah. Next week, we're going to have a contest to see who can prove whether it's an emu, a goose, or a ostrich. I've seen it represented all three ways. The Shanky's marketing department is playing fast and loose with their birds. Yeah.
I think they call it an ostrich as far as
cool, but I definitely saw a three-dimensional fiberglass resin item that children were sitting on that was 100% a goose.
Let's get Sean O'Hara.
And then I saw you can buy a 4-foot tall Shanky's whip thing, and it's an emu.
Okay.
So your daughter's not wrong.
When I Googled it, it said ostrich.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, but they're visual marketing. I can tell the difference with my eyeballs between an ostrich and an emu. And they're using emus as marketing toys, marketing stuff.
Allegedly.
So, but here's the interesting thing that I thought was kind of fucking cool. In our country, Royal Enfield not having a great time in our country. They're not doing terribly, but they're not having a great time. They went from 3,781 bikes to 2,699. Okay.
That's almost a full third.
It's a lot, right? So Royal Enfield, according to this, is currently in the United States, Royal Enfield is down 29%. Yeah. So Royal Enfield is down 29%.
How did Indian do?
I'm sorry?
How did Indian do?
Indian is Polaris Group. So Polaris Group is down only 0.6% right now.
Yeah, because it seems like Indian's doing all right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's really what it comes down to. And looking at market share, and it is an important thing to look at market share. You want to know of the 100 bikes that are being sold, how many of each one of those are there? And in their segments, it can be pretty serious. When you look at on-highway motorcycle sales, on-highway motorcycles, Harley Davidson is at 28.4%, right?
Yeah.
In on-highway motorbike sales. That's a shit ton, because in the total number of all the bikes sold in America, they're only at 17.1%. So the difference between the definition between just motorcycles sold in America versus on-highway motorcycles sold in America, because Harley has no representation outside of on-highway motorcycles. So when somebody says, oh, Harley Davidson only has a 17.1% market share, well, that's counting against Kawasaki's that don't have a license plate on them, and Harley has no dog in that hunt. So when you look at on-highway to on-highway, Harley still leads with a bullet at 28.4%. That's freaking huge. That's a lot of bikes.
I pulled myself
that's a big deal. The next competitor to Harley last year was Kawasaki. Kawasaki's at 20%.
Strobe MP asked the same question I want to know.
What was that?
KTM.
What about KTM? Cool. KTM let's take a look and see what their numbers are. Let's just look for total motorcycles, because we're just going to go the total field. In 2024, KTM sold 39,995 bikes. That's 40,000 motorcycles, okay? Which actually puts them at about exactly half of what Honda did.
So Zero is a sniffle drain in the fucking swamp.
Seriously, 294 motorcycles is not a lot of motorcycles.
Janice kicked their ass.
That's like 4 dealers.
Yeah.
If it was, by the way, if that was Vespa numbers, that's 3 dealers.
Yeah.
3 dealers does 300 bikes.
And yet, how many people, how could they have their people employed?
Well, this is my point why we can't carry Zero anymore, because they're just not selling.
Yeah.
Nobody's buying them.
Right.
Great bike, but nobody's buying them.
Hey, what are the unit sales for the year on Indian?
Give me 1 second.
All right.
They don't do that. They're part of Polaris. So Indian does not get its own category. Indian is part of Polaris.
Okay.
So when you say that, you're also counting everything that Polaris sells for an on-highway motorcycle. But I think that's pretty much just Indian. But back to the KTM story, because this is noteworthy. They went from 40,000 units sold in 2024. They have dropped to 28,000 units sold. That is a loss of 11,400 bikes. Well, KTM lost
Well,
they lost a massive third of their business.
Well, their uncertainty for almost 9 months. I'm sure that drove everyone, because who's going to buy a brand new bike that you don't know if it's going to be supported or not?
Correct. Polaris went from, like I said, Polaris barely changed at all. They actually did go up. Polaris went from 14,555. I'm sorry, they went down 14,472. The print's really small; it's hard to read. So Polaris is pretty much static at 14.5. To put it in perspective, what else sells? Suzuki sells about the same amount of bikes as Polaris does, 14.7.
Wow.
So those two bikes are very similar in their unit numbers.
It's a lot of bikes to be on the highways at 2 a.m.
Well, yeah. And I mean, and hats off to Yamaha for pulling that 50,000 bike number. Because Yamaha's pulling 50K, Kawasaki's pulling 76K, Honda's pulling 73K. I would have thought Honda was going to be way ahead of Kawasaki. They're not. They're actually behind them. And that's in total motorcycle sales. When we get to on-highway, things do change around a little bit, because on-highway, we're not counting dirt bikes now. And in on-highway, Kawasaki's got 42,000. Honda's got 32,000. Man, that puts Kawasaki way the hell over Honda, because Honda sells a shit ton of off-highway bikes. They just do. Interesting numbers. It's always fun to look at them. It's always interesting to see them, because I know we have people that rode scooters to work today, or scooters to the thing today. The largest market share in the United States of America for 2025 is scooters. Who do you think?
Vespa.
Honda.
Huh?
38.6%. So
just
of the scooter market, 38.6% of the scooters out in the world, because that's a shit ton of Metropolitans and a shit ton of Ruckuses.
Now they got the ADV 125s, and they got the whatever else is.
The Nabby.
30, right, exactly. And that's 38.5%. But
is it Gram a scooter in their mind?
No.
It's a motorcycle.
Okay.
But be careful, Honda, because right in your rearview mirror is Piaggio at 37% of the market share. The rest don't have any. Yamaha's got 18%. Suzuki's got 1%.
Kawasaki make no scooter.
Kawasaki get no listing on the scooters. BMW's only 4% of the market share. Honda's 38. Piaggio's 37. But here's the freaking creepy numbers. The creepy numbers in that category are the changes between last year and this year. Honda is down 48.5%.
Ooh.
And guess who took all those sales? Piaggio. So Honda is down 48.5%. Honda was last year at this time, they were at 6,200 units sold. They are at 3,100 units sold right now. Piaggio was at 3,100 units sold. They're at 3,800 units sold right now.
Ooh, here's
Go ahead.
a good
Question on sold. Does that mean they're sold to the dealer, or those are titled?
That means they're titled.
Okay.
So
out on the street.
MIC only reports titled units.
Okay.
Yep.
Getting back to how bad Zero was, this
Yeah.
is a great comment from Alex.
Yeah.
Zero failed in Australia for the second time recently, retaining stock over 400 bikes dumped at an auction.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell you, electric is not as sexy as it was 3 years ago when they were given nice big fat rebates. Mm-hmm. So when you could buy a $14,000 Zero and get a $2,000 or $3,000 rebate, or even a $4,000 rebate, then it's a cool thing to buy, because you're getting $4,000 right off the price tag of that bike. Drops your $14,000 bike down to a $10,000 bike. That's pretty cool. Or it drops your $9,000 bike down to a $6,000 bike. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. What about like the Chinese brands that come in?
What about
stuff? Are they listed in the list?
They're not.
No, not at all.
So Zero is listed, but I can tell you, Genuine Scooter Company is not listed. Janus is not listed. There's a lot of motorcycle manufacturers that do not report to MIC.
Do they do the most reliable list at all?
They don't. That's not an MIC thing. That's a Consumer Reports thing.
All right.
Yep. Yeah. MIC's, they'll field their data from other places, but that's not really one that MIC does. They don't give a warranty data or stuff like that so much. If they do, it's because the dealers are reporting that self-reported stuff. It's a little less reliable than this kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
But it is interesting to look at these numbers, and when you see that massive loss, when
That
you
was
look
a
at
good comment that was just up there.
what's that?
It's impressive that they don't have that Honda doesn't have a scooter over 160 cc's in the U.S. market anymore.
That's
But it
correct.
still has that big of a share.
Yeah, yeah, and that just tells. And what I've always said about Honda is that the vast majority of 75-year-old men will walk in and buy a Ruckus or a Metropolitan because it has a Honda badge on it.
The reflex and the elite. I mean, like, man. I mean, why?
Remember, there was a Silverwing 600.
Yeah.
Right, and it did well, but it didn't do well enough. It just didn't do well enough. And Kymco's not on this list. Kymco doesn't report. Because Kymco's basically become a non. It's just not.
The 400 scooter segment is so hot. I mean, why don't they come out with a 350 or 400?
Again, Honda's has them. They have them in every market except ours.
Wow.
And it's because somebody at Honda North America went, do you want to put it through NHTSA? So how much money are we going to spend putting it through NHTSA and EPA? How much money are we going to make back after we make that investment?
You'd almost think like once it's got approved for the European market, it should be like a no-brainer. But it's money. I'm
sorry. What's that sticker that you have on your hat say?
DOT.
It doesn't say FMVSS, does it? Right? America has always and are you trying to tell me that our American car safety standards are better than the Germans? Why do we not have an aggregated system? Why we still have motorcycles that we uncrate every day and the fucking sticker on the side of the box says NAFTA on it, which means it has the ugly turn signals, which means it has the shitty wiring diagram, the shitty wiring harness. There shouldn't be any difference at all between a European approved motorcycle and an American approved USA or Canadian or Mexico approved motorcycle. There is no reason to have two different supply lines. You don't have to stop the goddamn assembly line. Okay, guys, tomorrow we're building bikes for the NAFTA market, and that's when everybody takes off for work. Honda did have the 300 Ford Series. That's right, they did. They did, past tense. It's a shame that they don't. It's a good bike. It's a really good bike. They have given that market to Piaggio, 350cc scooters, 530cc scooters. They've given that to Piaggio. That they gave it because they don't do it anymore. BMW also doesn't do their 650cc scooter anymore. They gave that market away.
The Bergman is still sold here, right?
I would have to check to see if 650 burgers are still available.
I thought they turned it into
the 400 is still available.
I think they died. It was a big deal because I remember on Adventure Rider, some of the guys that were transitioning.
I won't cry one tear for the loss of the Bergman 650 transmission. You can fucking keep it. It's garbage. Yeah, don't want to see it anymore, don't want to hear about it, and damn sure don't want to listen to you tell me a 45-minute story that the culmination of the story is, and it's the best thing I've ever owned, and I don't understand why at 3,000 miles the transmission doesn't work. After you spent 45 minutes telling me how it was the greatest vehicle on the planet, but you're calling me because the transmission's broken. Guess what?
Rip.
It's not a great system, It's a scooter. It should have one gear. That's fine. They all work great with one gear. You don't need to fucking change that shit. Yeah. But it's a semi-automatic sport transmission. You don't need it. You just don't need it.
Moto Hop's on fire today.
Well, it's exactly right. You don't get to collect fees and paperwork. Yeah, you don't get to also control the market because there's a bully factor of it. Where
That's
you can
not American exceptionalism.
Right. It's not American exceptionalism to say, okay, well, America says how many, you talked about it earlier, how many Panigales got sold in America? Remember, Japanese markets, they didn't sell the Kawasaki KZ1000 in Japan. It was an American bike made in America, right? A lot of the Hondas were American bikes made in America. And yeah, that's American exceptionalism, absolutely. Or maybe you could just say, well, the bikes in the USA are made to a standard that is equally good for the USA and Japan and Europe, everything, all one standard. We do it for computer gear. We do it for all kinds of cool shit. The Boeing airplanes that are flying in Europe are the same safety standards as the ones flying in the United States. We don't build different airplanes for exports in other countries.
Right, it's so weird.
We don't build different watercraft for exports in different countries. But we do when it comes to cars and motorcycles.
Yep.
And it's the dumbest thing in the goddamn world. I want to bring my car from Canada to the United States. You can't. Well, why not? Because you have to go through and convert the headlights and the wipers and the turn signals and everything else. You have to make alterations to the vehicle. And that's a few years ago. Now there's a standard where it says, if the car is the same as the car that was sold in Canada, in the past 15 years, they've altered that. They've brought that in a bit of line. But if you want to go to Berlin and buy a brand new BMW, you cannot bring that car home with you to the United States. period, until it's 25 years old. So because it has a different wiring harness in it for the U.S. market.
But think about that rule for 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, this car that's brand new,
Yeah.
that probably has better everything on it, right? You can't bring it in.
Right.
But now in 25 years, when the thing's a hunk of shit, and it's misfiring and fucking the emissions up and everything, you go ahead, bring that fucker right
You
over.
can't bring over the 2025 BMW, which has airbags everywhere and meets the highest safety standard on planet Earth, Euro 6, etc. You cannot bring that car to the United States. But we got guys driving dead guy Dodges around.
Yeah, right.
Right? With rust up to the door handles.
Right.
And that's okay.
That's right. I was going to say, I'm not complaining about letting us do that. That's not me saying I want that removed. I'm just saying it's so ridiculous.
But why does there need to be multiple standards when there's one factory?
Take it one step further. Like California, you have cars that were 49 state compliant for shit, and then California does it differently. They have their own standards there.
It's so ridiculous. And that should be one of those things where you're like, okay, do we accept the fact that France has good car laws? Do we accept the fact that France has good safety standards?
I mean, isn't Euro 5 better than...
Yes.
Now they're going to Euro 6.
Exactly. But if we accept the fact that we're like, oh, those people aren't crazy people. Now, if you want to say that the Chinese standards are not acceptable, because that's the only thing that's kept BYD out of this country.
Tata.
It's a great example. If you want to say that their standards there are unacceptable, and they've decided that they don't want to spend the money to bring their cars up to our standard to get them into the United States, that's a decision they're making.
Yeah, right.
They don't value our market. Well, no shit. When I look at stuff like this and I go, well, congratulations, you sold 700 bikes in our country last year. Why the fuck did you pay for NHTSA certification? Why did you pay for EPA certification if you only sell 800 bikes in our country last year?
Do you even need it to sell that many bikes? Aren't they like a novelty bike?
There is a Jesse James rule. If it's a self-assembled vehicle, it's a little different. But I'm going to get into that. It's not a self-assembled vehicle anymore. So,
when Chrysler, Daimler, Benz, whatever it was bringing the Mercedes / Freightliner in, they were bringing those in as chassis, and they were putting the engines in here to get around some of that
CKD.
stuff.
Yeah,
you can literally get
a
complete knockdown law, and you can say, your assembly is happening here, so we're automatically going to say, okay, you're part of the homologation that we have for that particular engine. Well, that's not the engine. You can't buy that truck with that engine in Europe. That's an American-only engine. In Europe, you get a little 2.3 liter diesel. Awesome motor there, but here you're going to get the 2.9 liter. That's just the way they are. Yeah, it's something else.
That's what Sean just said in his RAV4. You can only tow 1,700 pounds here, but 3,000 in the rest of the world.
Oh, that's so weird.
Huh?
That is, I've never seen that before. He says his towing capacity here is 1,700 pounds, but 3,000 pounds. That is strange.
Some computer work.
That's kilopascals.
I wonder if it has to do with the hitches, because the hitches are different in Europe than they are here.
True.
So everything we use here in the way of a hitch is some sort of a box hitch that's based on a cross member that we bolt into your subframe. I've had European cars that have the different style, the hook hitch, the bent
the
bent
ones
weenie
that come
hook.
out.
It's the bent weenie hook. Yeah, it's the bent weenie hook. Yeah, they're a little different, but it does seem like it's, and it also could get to how we measure towing standards. For how we say, okay, this car using the U.S. system, it is towing 1,500 pounds, but using the European test, it's 3,000. So
I forgot to add same motor and trans setup.
Yeah. I mean, it does make. It makes perfect sense. But you also got to consider in the United States market, that car might be considered a very small car, small trailer. Whereas in the European market, that might be considered a mid-size or a larger size car. So it's got to move the Caravan. And if the Caravan weighs 3,000 pounds, because there aren't too many Caravans that weigh 1,500 pounds, well, I've been to Europe enough to know that every time I see a fucking Caravan being dragged down the road, it's got a RAV4 in front of it. Mm-hmm. So it's a prime Caravan mover over there. If you took away 1,500 pounds of its ability to move a Caravan, you wouldn't be selling too many Pikeys. They're Caravan.
It's a great movie. Snatch.
Like Dags.
Dags. Oh, you mean dogs? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dags.
Yeah, dog in a deal. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. I got nothing else. Anybody else got anything else?
Wow.
Yeah,
Dan, go
I
ahead.
heard a vicious rumor that Mods versus Rockers might be back in Cleveland next year.
Oh, my goodness. That's a fantastic rumor. That's delightful.
Cool. I mean, I don't have any details.
I'm happy to see it's coming back.
It's being worked on.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I'm so happy. Yeah, that's cool, man. I love an idea of another event. Yeah.
I entered 10 puns in a contest to see if they'd win. No pun intended.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Barber's going on right now.
Oh yeah. Barber Vintage Days, right?
Paul and Andrea are racing.
Yeah, they're racing.
Logos on
They're racing. Hey, look, if you be real quiet, if you can be real quiet, just get real quiet. You can hear the party that's not happening at Barber right now.
Yeah, exactly the same.
I'm going to publicly profess my love for Barber. I mean, I love my Mid-Ohio, but Barber's first-class operation.
It is a first-class operation. Mid-Ohio's a no-class operation. They're only one away from each other.
The quiet time started at Barber, though, about 2 hours ago.
Oh, it did. Oh. Yeah. Right now, if a guy's listening to music on his cell phone, he's getting yelled at.
Yeah.
Barber just called. We're being too loud.
Oh, man. On that, my friends, ride fast and take chances. Play us out of here, Johnny Mac.
Bum, 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 bum,
Eject, hit the red button, get us out of here. We're having tempo problems. Some people want to run, some people want to drink.